Hey, this is Serge. Do you truly understand how compounding and drip work in investment? In my last video, I talked about investing in Aristocrat dividend stock to start a new income stream, and at the end of it, I mentioned something very interesting. It is possible to add to this method of investment an heavy dose of steroid if you understand how compounding works. The steroid is using DRIP or Dividend Reinvestment Plan. So what does compounding and what DRIP means, you may ask? Oh yeah, stick to the end of this video for the bonus. You will see some magic happening with this. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, write a comment, and continue walking this journey with me. Let's see some quick definition first to help us to understand the process. Bear with me here while I am giving you some definition. It is a bit hard to chew and digest, but it is important to understand. Simple interest. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the daily interest rate by the principal and the numbers of days that elapse between the payment. I know it's hard. Example of this, if you invest $1,000 at 5% for 10 years, you will collect $500 of interest, compounding interest. Compound interest or compounding interest is the interest on a loan, deposit, or investment calculated based on both initial principal and accumulated interest from the previous period. Compound interest can be thought as interest over interest and will make the sum grow at a faster rate than simple interest, which is calculated only on the principal amount. Example of this, invest $1,000 at 5% for 10 years, you will have $628.85 of interest. So compounding interest give you an extra $128.85. So you can see how good it can be. It is a bit complicated to calculate the compound interest manually, so refer to the calculator in the link below in the description. The important thing here is to realize that compound interest is much better than simple interest when it comes to your investment. A dividend reinvestment plan, or DRIP, this is what we're focusing on today, is a program that allows investors to reinvest their cash dividend into additional shares of the underlying stock on the dividend payment date, allowing to receive even more dividend in the future as the share count increased over time. Was this English? So complicated. Stick with me. You will understand what all those words mean. Okay, now we know what we are talking about in words. But let's understand it in a better way, meaning with real example, because words sometimes are very difficult. I know it is hard to chew until now, but it is worth it to keep watching and to really understand. At this point, let's go on my computer. I will show you some of those concepts and how they work. Okay, hi. Now we are on my computer. So I would like to show you the difference between simple interest, compound interest, and later on, if you keep going on for the bonus, I will also show you the example of AT&T with drips. So let's come here. So here, let's assume when you will use and play with that Google Sheet here, you do have some parameters that you can enter. So here, let's take an example here. We will start at year 0, right? Because the first time you put your investment, this is year 0. We become year 1 once the year is completed. So year 0, so here you do have year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, right? So this is the beginning of each year. So from there, we are investing $1,000. We are not going to fund or add extra money in this account every year because we just want to compare basic information with other method. Let's assume here in the example that we do have an interest rate at 7.30%. And I'm using here 7.30% because I want to compare that to AT&T that offer a dividend yield at 7.30%. We are going to assume that there's no inflation. Usually the inflation is an average of 2% per year, but we're not going to use this at this point. And then we are going to assume that we're not removing any money. So now if you look at this here, putting at the beginning of everything, right? So this is day 0. We start with $1,000, let's call it a bank account. And then we're going to receive 7.33% year after year. But remember, simple interest is interest calculated only on the capital in the account, not interest over interest, right? This is compounding. So every year, after the first year, the interest is paid only once a year. After the first year, I will receive 7.30%, so $73. Then at the end of the second year, I will receive interest on the 1,073, 7.3%. This will give me $1,146, and so on and so on and so on. So here we're going to use the benchmark of 10 years to compare everything. So at the end of 10 years with simple interest at 7.33%, I will have accumulated $730. So here we see $1,730 because the initial $1,000 and $730 of interest. So basically I gain what? $730 of interest. So now if we go and look at compounding interest, right? The difference now is interest over interest. Not only over the capital, but over interest. So the same settings that we start at the beginning, $1,000, 7.30%. So I put in deposit $1,000, right? And now I'm getting my 7.33% on the initial $1,000. So I get $73. But now you can see already in the second year, I am receiving more money. Why? Because now the interest is not only on the $1,000, but the interest is calculated on the capital plus the interest accumulated the previous year. Interest over interest. So right away in the second year, we can see 1,151 and 33 versus the second year, 1,146. So you see there's already a difference. If we go back to the 10-year, you will see $2,023.01 versus after 10 years, 1,730. So we can see right away that compounding interest is much better than simple interest, right? But DRIP is even better. So please stay for the bonus to see how DRIP works. Okay, let's go back. In my previous video described here in the card, we use AT&T, an Aristocrat dividend stock, as an example. So let's add to this example some DRIP effect to generate even more passive income from this. If every time you receive a dividend from AT&T, you buy more shares of AT&T for the equivalent of the payout, you will have a compounding effect on the stock using DRIP. The idea is very simple, but it may be complicated to understand, so let's start with baby step. I am paraphrasing here, but bear with me. If you understand how DRIP works, you can skip this section. We will play a game here with very simple rules. Grandpa said to his grandson, making a small story here. Rule 1. Every time you visit me, let's say every 3 months, I will give you 25 cents for every dollar you have in your pocket. Grandpa added the following for a better understanding. A. If you are smart, you will keep the money I give you and come with it next time, okay? B, as the 25 cents accumulating over time, Grandpa will be forced to give you more money simply because you kept those dollars. That's it. No more rules, no more explanation. This is what the concept of drip is. As you will see, at the beginning of this process, the accumulation is very slow. But as time passes by, the profit can be very huge, but it does require patience. I will show you a rolling screen here and speed up this video because this part is long and it may be boring for some of you. But you need to understand this part as this is the basic of drip. If you need, you can slow down the viewing speed of this video so you can follow with me and fully understand how it works, or look at the script below in the description. Are you ready? We're going to speed here, so bear with me. Okay, let's go double speed for the next few seconds so we can go through the script. Here is the story I'm going to relate to. First, you visit Grandpa and you have $1 in your pocket. This is your initial investment. Because you have $1 in your pocket, Grandpa must give you 25 cents for your roll. So you now leave with $1.25 in your pocket for the next time you do this. The second time you do this, you still have that $1.25 in your pocket. Therefore, Grandpa, because $1.25 is in the middle of $1, must give you $1.25 cents. So when you leave, you have $1.50 in your pocket. The third time, you still have that $1.50 in your pocket. So Grandpa must give you another 25 cents. So you then pay $1.75. The fourth time that you come with that $1.75, Grandpa must give you another 25 cents. So you will leave this $1 in your pocket, and this is where the magic of drip is interesting. The fifth time, you will have now $2 in your pocket. $2 is basically 2 times $1, right? You already visited your Grandpa 4 times. Grandpa gave you 4 times 25 cents. This is why you have $2 in your pocket. But now you have 2 times $1. Therefore, Grandpa must give you 25 cents for each dollar. So we give you this time 50 cents. So Grandpa gives you 50 cents because you have now $2 in your pocket. So when you leave, you now have $2.50. The sixth time, as you already have $2 in your pocket, Grandpa must give you another 50 cents. Why? Because you already have 2 times $1 plus 50 cents. So Grandpa must give you 25 cents, 25 cents, and 50. $4.50. So this time when you leave, you already have $3 in your pocket. The second time, as you have $3 in your pocket, Grandpa gives you 25 cents. So you leave with 25. The eighth time, because you have $3.75, Grandpa must give you another 75 cents, 3 times $1. So now you leave with $4.50. The eighth time, as you now have $4.50 in your pocket, Grandpa must give you $1. So when you leave, you have $5.50. The ninth time, because you have $5.50, Grandpa must give you $1.25. So you leave with $6.75. The ninth time, because you have $6.75, Grandpa must give you $1.50. So when you leave, you have $8.25. The tenth time, as you come with $8.25, Grandpa must give you $2. Now you leave with $10.25. The tenth time, because you have $1.25 in your pocket, you receive what? 10 times 25 cents for $2.50. Do you see the power of drip? After 10 times, you did nothing except keeping the money that you already received, and Grandpa now is giving you $2.50. And this will be going on forever and ever as long as you keep the stock. As long as you keep it. And this is simply with patience. So now let's imagine if we do apply that with AT&T. Every time you have enough share paying dividends of AT&T, you will get an extra shares or 2 extra shares of AT&T. Same principle that Grandpa and his grandson with the $1 multiple. Just to give you an example, I know one person who currently has 6,000 shares of AT&T. The next dividend payout of AT&T, it will receive 6,000 times 52 cents or $3,120. Or if you prefer, an extra 109 shares simply because he has some patience and do not sell the stock. Do you understand the magic behind a drip? If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. Let's see on my computer screen what drips look like and compare it with simple and compounding interest. You will truly see the power of this and why it is magical. In the bonus section, we're going to look at AT&T itself, and we're going to add drip within the equation here. So now AT&T already offer a 7.30% yield, dividend yield. So with dividends, it's called the yield, not an interest rate. The stock price, we will assume that the stock price would remain constant, $28.08. They pay dividends 4 times a year. We assume that there's no inflation. So for $1,000 here, buying AT&T at $28.08, I can see this give me 35 shares. But now instead of looking at interest rate, we are going to look at it as we are reinvesting the dividends that we receive, and then we're going to buy shares with it. So between the first year and second years, the $73 basically became in shares, so I gained an extra 3 shares. And as we move on year over year, it's compounding, but instead of just grabbing the interest, I'm buying more and more and more share. That means my piece of pie will grow up over time. And then after 10 years here, you can see that I already have 72 shares. I did not invested any more money. I did not put an extra penny in it, but I went from 35 shares to 72 shares. Do you see the difference? So now I have more shares giving me more dividends every year. And as things are moving along, I'm simply getting more and more and more. So this is even better than compounding interest. If you understand why drip and dividends investing are so powerful and beat up practically any other investment strategy. Of course, without this technique, from time to time, you may be lucky and buy a stock that will go by 10,000%. But this is only based on luck. And how much money will you lose trying to get this famous stock? Anyhow, regarding the stock market, Aristocrat dividend stock mixed with drip is the best and safest investment possible right now. Now it is time for you to play with those numbers. So please go in the description, take a copy of the Google Sheet that I was using during the demo on the computer and play with the numbers. You will realize how powerful the compounding is. Until the next video, act now or dream on. Okay, bye.